Hi, we are looking at the 1835 mill in St. Johnsville, New York. My name is Ron Hiesel, the owner of this property, and we have lived here since 1988. And it's a beautiful property that's on the historical register, and it's wonderful living next to a waterfall that makes this great noise that's soothing to you all year round. You will notice on the picture here on the front page of the website the whole complex that is now for sale. Across the road is the miller's home, and that has 3 bathrooms and is just renewed inside. All the electric and the rooms are refurbished, and it's quite elegant. This side of the mill area is other buildings that are as follows here. We have the carriage house, and in behind the carriage house is the hog house, which is a nice little place to sleep. It's a cottage, and it sleeps 2 in there. The other structure is a barn, and that's all wired and prepared that you could make that into a sleeping area. It has quite a bit of space inside and is a great place to think about adding rooms or whatever you might want to add. The mill itself is from the 1830s and used to grind grain, and it is roughly 60 foot long by 30 feet wide, and it is heated with hot water and is a very efficient and keeps you nice and snug and warm through the winter. It's also nice and cool in the summer. It has a lot of air flowing through it by convection, but also there is a fan up in the upper part of it, a whole house fan, which keeps nice cool air from the water through the whole place. It's quite an interesting place to live. Now let's take a look at the mill interior. The first picture on the website allows us to, let me get in gear here. This is the first picture on the website and of the interior, and this is the kitchen, which is located on the 2nd floor. You will notice that it is comprised of rock maple working area with 2 stoves and 2 fridges, and it is quite a great place where my wife makes gourmet desserts at the time. Over on the left there's a sitting area, and in the extreme left there's a view down to the floor below that's an atrium that has about 1,800 gallons of water in it with our fish inside, and that's good view. If you look out the window, you can see the waterfalls down below and all the forest behind it. It's very quiet in a mill, and the only noise you hear when you open a window is the waterfalls outside. Going to the next picture below is a view as you come in the door of the mill on the 1st floor, and you will notice that there's a place where you can sign in if you want. Currently it is now a bed and breakfast and has been for the last 25 years, but this place would make an excellent any kind of place to live in. It would make a home or a place for another bed and breakfast, or would be a great restaurant. Right now we're looking at one of the machines that is original with the grinder in it, and that used to take the flour and grind it and then send it through a hole in the floor. And there used to be belts that went around it and went down to the water wheel, and then later to a machine that kept it going. In the back is a printing press that was used to make various signs in the mill. The next picture is a grinder that was run by electricity way back in the end of the 1800s when Beardsley Castle, that is right near us, got electricity and had extra electricity to sell, and they decided to put a machine here in the mill that would grind the grain. They used to weigh all of the grain coming in and going out, and you'll notice that the grain was in bags that weighed 140 pounds each. This is a view of the first floor with the billiard table in the middle, and in the back there's two videos of cameras that are in the tunnel that's down below. This was part of the Underground Railroad, and the slaves that were escaping from the south would be here for a certain period of time until there was a barge that could take them to Canada, where they would truly be free. And in order to allow visitors to see down below in the tunnel, I have two cameras down there showing them how that operates. Way over on the left, there's a trapdoor that brings you down to the first floor, and would make a great shop down there, or a place to cook and have a great kitchen down below. The next picture is the facing west of the bathroom that's on the first floor. This was also a office, and where the gentleman that was running the mill would wait until a customer would come in, and then they would look out the door and see who was in here, because this was heated in the winter time and the rest of the mill was not. So they had a potbelly stove in here that kept them nice and warm. This is another picture of the second floor kitchen area, and you'll see that it's quite extensive and a great place to work. When you come up the steps and from the first floor, this is our kitchen nook, and behind it a bathroom, a half bath. You'll notice how the flooring is quite wide boards and is quite beautiful. Another view of the kitchen going in the other direction, and facing out these windows would be the waterfalls. This is the second floor again. On the left is some of the older machines. One of the great things about a grist mill is that they never threw out the older machines. When the new machine would arrive, they would end up with just putting it alongside, or just pushing it to the back. And as a result, you end up with the history of a lot of the machines running in the mill. This is a machine called a willower in the center here, and they used to throw the grain into the hole at the top, the funnel, and then there'd be a large wind blowing machine here that would blow through, and it would make a tornado here in the center and spin it around, and that would separate the grain from the chaff, where the grain would fall to the bottom and be jiggled by a machine that would jiggle back and forth and separate and send the larger grain into one area and the thinner grain to another and the chaff into another. On the right is a washing machine used in the 1800s. Another view looking the opposite direction, and you'll see that there's a dining area so you can sit and relax here on the second floor of the mill. Another view of the same area. If you'd look out this window, you'll see the waterfalls. And to the right here is the willowing machine. This view is near the washing machine, the old washing machine, and over the edge, if you look down, you'll see through the atrium there's fish way down below, and that's quite interesting to see. And as you look out the window, you'll see the waterfall. On the first floor, this is the beginning of the staircase going up to the second floor, and the walls here used to be whitewashed because this is where the farmers used to wait to get their grain manufactured properly and cleaned. This is a view of the top floor, and this is where we sleep, and you will notice the quite beautiful flooring, which is the original floors from the 1830s, and the bedroom area in the back. Then there is a health area so you can do your gymnastics, and then there is a jacuzzi tub right here in the center. The windows look out into the woods, and they're Velux windows and open up, and it gets to be nice and windy if you want it that way. This is another view looking out and seeing the bed on the left and the barber chair down the center, and in behind that is a bathroom, a full bath. This is the jacuzzi on the third floor. This is the bathroom on the third floor, with a shower in the center and a double sink on the left. This is the third floor, and looking at the wood stove that can be used if you want. However, the heating, there's commercial heating throughout, and it's more than adequate, and we have not used this stove in 15 years now, I think, because it's plenty warm, sometimes too warm in the winter. A view of where we can sit and relax. One of the problems you have by owning a stone mill that's so thick is that you can't hear anything. It's nice and quiet in here, and you can't hear anything outside. And as a result, someone could come into the driveway and you would not know they were here. So I have installed some various alarms that tell me where people might be. And there's an alarm when you come into the driveway, and then we have cameras outside that show where you might be parked so that we can go down and greet you. Otherwise, you'd be standing out there and have no way of knowing that we didn't know where you were or when you arrived. This is a long view of the third floor. This is the opposite direction, with a staircase going up to the loft up above, which would make a great room to keep your clothing in, or a supply room. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, just wrap off the end.